7 o'clock. Go ahead and call this Public Works and Public Utilities Committee meeting to order. Let's go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Comments from citizens?
What?
Comments from citizens? Do you have any comments? Now would be the time.
Yes.
If you would state your name and address for the record,
Sure.
then make your statement.
My name is John Lauer. I live at 17 Mays Meadows. We were here actually for our area in Mays Meadows. We have a petition for the city of Centralia. About 5 years ago, you guys were supposed to redo our streets and curbs. You guys did not. You did a partial of it, about a quarter. And then all of a sudden, you guys never came back. Okay, we want to know when you guys are going to do it. Our streets are falling apart. The sewer drains are collapsing. When it rains in the middle of the street, you see bubbles coming up. And there's one section of a neighbor's house where the storm drain is going in. It's actually down far enough. If a kid rides his bike, I hate to say guys, you'll have a lawsuit on your hands. Okay, that is your responsibility, not ours. We pay the taxes. And this has gone on too long. Okay? 5 years. 5 years, and only a quarter of it got done. I want to know what you guys are going to do about it. You are the alderman for that area.
Yes,
You came out once already.
I've looked at it, and I've talked to some of the city people about it. They started on it, some other things came up that they were working on, but they're supposed to get back to it. It is on the agenda to get back to. But there have been so many other things come up that have been priorities that have taken, we will get back to it.
But when? I mean, we've already waited for 5 years.
I realize
New
that.
subdivisions are going in, and they're getting the recognition. They're getting the work done. Ours, I know our street is not a
Well,
public street. It doesn't have a whole lot of traffic, but we do pay our taxes. At one time, that was a great subdivision. I mean, you know, there was a lot of people that had money that lived there, very wealthy people. And there still is, but Centralia's neglecting it.
but you gotta realize, the new subdivisions that are going in, the developers are paying for that, not the city.
Well, you're paying some of it. We all know that.
No, they're not paying it. The streets are being put in by the developers.
By developers.
Yes.
So out there by, across the high school and all that, you're telling me they put every bit of it in?
Yes.
That's a
They pay for all the
requirement.
streets and all the sewers, that's a requirement.
So where's our taxpayers' money going to? If they're paying for that, where's ours going to?
Well, it's been going for some street overlays, and it goes for the police department, and it goes for a lot of other things, but, we've been trying to catch up on our streets. They have, because of some bigger projects that went on when the school was put in, the city had to pay for those streets because the school did not. So in order to upgrade those, the city had to come up with money for that. The city couldn't afford it all at once, so the city basically borrowed money. We get some funds from the county every year. We borrowed against those funds so that after that was completed, we didn't get as much money from the county for the next 4, 5, 6 years.
Okay,
Now we're trying to catch up with overlays because of all the streets that are falling apart.
Okay, who paid for Switzerland?
The city
city
paid for
paid
that.
for
The city paid for that, okay? And ours was on the books before Switzerland, so why did that get taken care of before ours?
Because it was taking commercial traffic and it was just being absolutely beat to hell.
Why didn't AB Chance take care of it? It was from their trucks.
That's correct, but you can't force them to pay for it. I mean, it's a city street, and so they're using city streets just like you are.
Yeah.
I mean, you should expect to have decent streets too. We are trying to get to that, but that street takes a lot more traffic, and it was just absolutely being beat to hell. It was falling apart, and, you know, we can't afford for Hubble to pull out of here as a result of us not maintaining our streets, so that street was a priority.
Okay, but again, we're paying our taxes,
Yes, I realize that.
okay?
But
And
the
it's
city
just-
only has so much money.
Yeah, I understand the city has so much money, but so do we. And our taxes are going for all this. It is being neglected. It is being neglected. You told us, this town told us that they would have it done. And then they pulled away from it. So it's your responsibility, as a committee, to hold your end of the bargain up. You haven't done it. You lied to us. That's what you done.
Well, it certainly wasn't intentional.
Well, it never is it? That's what a child tells a parent, it's never intentional. But we pay our taxes, we want it done.
I understand.
We got potholes out there. Kids can't ride, you know, I mean, it's a safe area, but kids can't ride their bikes in it.
And believe me, I've been out there, I've looked at it, and I'm aware of what the problems are. That street literally, right, it is literally falling apart.
Falling apart. Yes, and if a child falls in that manhole, that drain hole, are you able to report a lawsuit? Because it is your responsibility and you are the government. Now, you guys don't be able to uphold that.
So I appreciate your guys coming out here and expressing your desire to get your street fixed. We also have streets along Westmont, Briarwood, and nearby you that also have problems. Last year we did an overlay. One of the things we overlaid was Jefferson Street from the tracks north to about Southgate. These are heavily trafficked streets. Your street is on that list. We know we do an inventory every year. We know it's in bad shape. It's very, you know, right now I would say it's a high priority for next year. So is the Briarwood, the 3 streets over on Briarwood. So is Gano Chance. So is last June, there's a group here that lives on South Central Street. That street isn't as old as yours and it wasn't constructed properly. At the time, it was accepted as a city street. The city did not have the wherewithal to be doing all the inspections that are ideal. Now, I wasn't here, and when you're talking about something that started 5 years ago, that doesn't mean that I'm trying to say that I'm not, that we're not responsible for it. So, you know, I don't know the exact particulars as well as Don Borman from 5 years ago, but we know that there are some priorities out there. And as you mentioned, we had a direct appeal from our largest employer to fix a street that was also falling apart. Yes, they do get heavy truck traffic, and we redesigned it to handle that heavy truck traffic better. So, you know, I know that from your perspective, because you drive on that street every day, that's the most important street to you. We do, and the stormwater issues over there, they're going to be pretty tricky to come by. We also have to do we have to do some curb and gutter work before we do the street.
Yes.
So we have to get it done in the right order, and we have to, you know, putting a crown on the street to get it to flow out. It's going to take a little work. And ideally, we'll have it in the 2016 overlay. If we have to do major patching, it may not get all the way done until 2017.
But you're actually gonna have to replace that sewer drain and storm drain. Because I can tell you right now, you've got problems with it, it's broke. Okay, it is cracked.
I was talking about
When it's hard rain, you can see it coming up out of the blacktop. Okay, so you guys got serious problems. Okay, if it collapses, and the car's going across it, you've got serious problems. Be prepared for this, gentlemen.
We worked on a project earlier this year where we had a culvert that was about 3 feet across, under Jefferson Street and Gano Chance, where it wasn't probably going to happen anytime this year or next year, but sometime in the future, that could have collapsed. And not saying that it wouldn't be a bad problem to have a 2-foot or 18-inch drain pipe collapse, but a 3-foot one is, I understand from your perspective, it's hard to see the other priorities. But when we had to take the project at Switzler and over there on Lakeview, yeah, those and the stormwater projects on Jefferson and Gano Chance, we have to put the highest traffic streets first. But we do know about your problems on Mays Meadow. We do know about the problems over by Briarwood on either side, and West Winds, Eastmont, Briarwood. And then if you look downtown, we've got some things that need to be done too. Barnes need. So you're definitely in the mix as one of the streets to be done soon.
I mean, we're just kind of concerned because we want it done.
Right.
You guys started it,
Right.
okay? That would be like somebody coming to your house, putting a room addition on, and then don't show up for 3 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. What are you guys gonna do? You're gonna be pretty upset, won't you? Yeah, and that's where we're at right now. You guys started the project, finish it. That's all I can tell you.
I'd like to speak. You go ahead.
Well, my name's Amanda Smith. I live at 4 Mays Meadow. We just bought the house last August, so we've just been there a year. I own my own daycare, so I have my twins, a 5-year-old, and then 4 other children that I babysit. And when it rains very, very heavily, the kids have a really hard time getting across just into the driveway. Parents are slipping, and then when they hit the concrete, I know that's my liability on my property, but the reason why they're slipping is because of the drainage. And I mean, it's just wide as a kid, and you literally have to jump over it. And it's just not safe at all. And like the drain that John's talking about is that there's other kids that come from other neighborhoods to walk to the high school, and they walk right by that drain, even when it is raining, because their parents can't take them to school or whatever it may be. And they, they're not familiar with that. And so that's very dangerous as well for those kids too. So it's a very high traffic area for kids to walk through from the other part of the neighborhood, from other neighborhoods to get to the high school, to and from. So, yeah, it's very, very important.
My name is Sue Johnson. I live at 2 Mays Meadows, and we've been there a long time, 25 years. And Dawn is not the only alderman to have come out and looked at our road. I don't know sequence, but Dan Hamilton also came out and looked at our roads. And at that point in time, we were promised that they were going, and that's been years ago. Our biggest concern, of course, is the safety of the children. There's a lot of kids in that neighborhood. I walk my dog, my husband walks our dog around that circle every single day. The road is so rough that you have to watch where you're going, because I have fallen because you get stuck in the thing. Obviously, the biggest concern is the drain. The drain sits on the corner of my house. When it's raining and when the water comes up, you can't see that drain is 5.5, 6 feet low where it's supposed to be. So if you've got kids out there, you've got adults out there, we all have to get out there and try to open it up to get the water to go through it. Somebody's gonna get hurt, guys. And when they ride their bikes through there, and I've said it 1,000 times sitting on my front porch, one of these days I'm gonna see a child not come back up out of there. It's very dangerous. Not to mention the fact that my yard is going into that also. But that being said, it's not even about the upkeep of the roads. It's not about it makes our neighborhood look terrible, and we have a very nice neighborhood, very secluded little area there, very family orientated place. The fact is, you guys, it's got to the point now where it's dangerous. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
I run
quite frequently, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I have ran through that neighborhood a couple times, and I understand your complaints. I was like, holy smokes, this is, needs attention. But like Matt and Don said, we've got a limited budget every year, and we've got to prioritize. And
But we've been on the budget, we've been on the budget twice, and we've been taken off twice.
Well, with you all showing up here tonight, I think that gives us a little bit more fire that we can put under. So I appreciate you all coming in tonight and refreshing our memories. And so we will definitely address it in the next year.
Thank you.
Thank
We appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us.
Absolutely.
The budget estimate for that project is somewhere in the neighborhood of $47,000 for the street overlay, not to mention.
That's not with the curb. That's not
A
with the
lot of
curb.
those colors have to be replaced.
That's just the overlay.
That's the overlay.
Was 47.
Yeah.
Can I say
By the
something about that?
sound- by the
Can I say
sound-
something about that? The problem with the curb and the street is the curb is down here and the street is up here.
Right.
But,
So
You
you have
can't
to do the
only
street.
overlay again.
right, and that's the problem we ran into.
Some of it needs to
in-
be rebuilt, I
Yeah.
mean, it's just,
That's the problem we ran into with Switzer Street, is the
Right.
curb are down here and there's street
Right,
up
well,
here.
I mean, the drain,
Because they overlaid it so much.
our drain is in the center of the circle,
Mhm.
and we're the only drain in the whole circle, and we're down here and the road's up here.
Right,
So that's gonna be an issue as far as.
right.
And we got these little ones up here that are gonna be playing. So,
Everybody's.
we got big
Yeah.
concerns.
And
Well, I understand.
we all know that you guys are gonna have to dig this thing up. You're gonna have to take it down to dirt and redo it. We understand that, okay? We're ready for it though, okay? We want it done right though, not an overlay.
Right.
Do it right.
Everything else?
So what's your name?
Gerald Johnson.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Alright, we'll continue on to.
Do we need to stay for the rest of your meeting?
No,
No,
you may, but of course.
you're welcome to.
Really, I don't know if any of the rest of his interest does.
It's pretty riveting. Yeah.
She did make it through, that was pretty funny.
She went all the way there.
All the way? You can stay. John, we see you guys.
Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
These are pictures of the street, okay? So, we got more, so if you need them.
All right, thank you.
We're a scary bunch, we'll be back.
Go ahead. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alright, moving on, to Public Works, we have an activity report in our packet. Any questions or comments?
You can jump in there, Phil.
Wouldn't do me no good. I work at the direction of you guys. I was pulled out of there years ago and sent in other directions.
Alright, let's go ahead and go on to streets. John's street sidewalk project update.
I did want to let you guys know that the project is moving forward, maybe quietly from your guys' perspective, but it is on schedule. MoDOT has approved the project design and they have cleared the project for acquisition of right-of-way. There's very little that we will have to acquire. We have to get the easement from the school, and then we believe there might be 2, 3, maybe 4 temporary construction easements. The project and the bid documents need to be ready in 3 months, and the deadline for accepting the best bid is June 1, 2016. They would work with us for additional for additional time we need it, but I don't think we're gonna need it in October. We'd like to be a little bit ahead of that timeline, have construction begin shortly after school lets out for the summer. And I think we're on track to do that with Nico. We have been cleared. There are no archaeological ruins or
Grave sites.
or anything like that. So, you know, the things that the state requires have been, we've gotten through, and we've submitted three small invoices to DNR and paid 3 slightly, you know, whatever, 80, we received back from DNR, or from MoDOT, 80% of the monies we've sent to RICO. So that's on schedule and going well.
Anything under sanitation? Storm sewer?
Got a few little projects we're doing, got, waiting on the pipe to show up so we can do a repair on some rusted out storm sewer here at Bruton and Allen. We got a few driveway culverts that are pending, so just waiting on homeowners.
Alright, anything under other?
No.
Alright, moving on to water and sewer department, there's an activity report in our packet. Any questions or comments?
It'll probably, what do you say on that aerator? It's gonna probably be next spring.
Yeah, it's gonna be 18 weeks. Yeah, it's not, they don't have one on the shelf.
I can't believe that. Michelle.
Yeah. All right.
Alright, anything under water,
I don't have anything.
sewer? Other?
I don't have anything. We're just getting it.
You gonna buy anything tonight? Awesome.
No, I don't have anything.
Alright, moving on to the electric department, we have an activity report in our packet. Any questions or comments?
Do you know how many of the 18 disconnects have been turned back on? They're all
I believe all of them are back on by now, aren't
There's a couple that moved.
I'm sure there are,
Oh.
they aren't all on, because there's always a few that it's,
they? Okay.
just, you know, it's their last bill and they're moving away.
Okay.
So
Right.
they just don't pay their last bill.
Right, there are about 3 or 4 that we finaled. Well, some, I don't know, they finaled 4, I think, but I'm not sure they all.
Okay.
The majority of them though, it's very few that
Okay.
were probably something like that.
All right, thanks.
The rest of them were turned on.
Update on underground conduit installation, the boring project.
Yeah. Gosh, we could go on for about 3 hours if I gave you all the details of the back and forth, but I won't. Suffice it to say
That would be more.
that what we, and make it very boring. Suffice it to say that what is left to be done is get a final okay on flagging from Norfolk Southern. We've got all the permits and everything. Kansas City Southern's ready to go as soon as we give them a date, and then Bartlett and West, which is the company that does their flagging, will get that all set up. They like 3 weeks' notice. Thought we had a date for November 4th, and we were supposed to know today what the requirements from Norfolk Southern were. When I talked to Pam Hegman at 11:23 or so, 11 o'clock this morning, she hadn't gotten the final word. So during this weather we've had recently, we've been doing a lot of paperwork. We're waiting for the weather to change, I guess, to do the digging and all the underground work.
Is there somebody that
We wouldn't want it to be too good.
Right.
Yeah, sure. You can call Norfolk Southern and tell them. Actually, and the thing that really just drives you half
nuts?
around the bend is all this time, Norfolk Southern has been easy to work with. Anything we needed, they gave us an answer. They told us this is what we want, this is what we want, insurance, permits, here at the end, there was, oh, wait, we didn't think you were gonna do this until March, we don't know about flagging. So, that, you know, yeah, and then we had, issues with, we've come up with a solution for the slurry, but the pond is not gonna be the solution. DNR doesn't want us to kill our own fish, which, okay,
There are fish.
I know. They don't wanna get a call from a constituent saying you killed the fish that we were gonna move anyway, that we put there, which I understand.
It's okay, and put it
So,
in the,
Well,
I don't know, the market's not.
we've got other solutions,
yeah,
but, yeah, it's been,
okay.
but we're very close, I think, to actually drilling and boring and getting conduit in.
It's just about the time we're ready. We'll run out of our permit time on KC7.
I think Kansas City Southern, well, we're hoping that if we get the actual drilling started, I think it's December 10th is the deadline there. If we get our stuff started, they're not gonna tack on the $2,000 per bore, which would be $4,000 because there's 2 bores in them. That's what Pam is hoping for. I think we'll be started before that. We're pretty close. But,
Yeah,
yeah, so I just, wanted you to know why it hasn't been done yet.
thank you.
Anything under other?
I did want to say something. Mark and I went up to Hannibal on October 21st and in attendance also were Cahokia and Marceline. And then for a period of time, Bob Stevenson from Hannibal. We met with, and I didn't write his name down, a gentleman from AEP. I'm going to say Vince. I think it's Vince, but I don't know the last name. I can look it up. Basically, he gave us an interesting presentation about solar as a partial offset for capacity needs or market or marketing purposes. And then, more importantly, he talked to us about the long-term energy, well, the medium range, I guess, you know, long-term used to be 10 years, now it's 3. But based on that discussion, talking with Cahokia and with the futures in natural gas, the prices for future electricity are lower now than they were 6 months ago. So there really isn't that much to gain by trying to find the extra savings with the self-managed portfolio. So right now, Bob Harbour is working with Constellation and AEP. Dynergy made a proposal which was probably about the 5th best we saw. So it probably won't be the big change will be changing from Dynergy to a new company. But I'm I'm 99.98% certain that we're going to come back with a full requirements contract for 3 years. That's not that long. We'll take another look, maybe 4.
So is Hannibal not gonna switch to the other?
Hannibal's done. They're gone. They're on that pathway. They're not looking back. They are not going to do full requirements. It's just going to be us, Cahokia, Marceline, and possibly California. City. So
They were how much of our consortium?
they were by themselves, I think 65%, something like that. A little bit, yeah, I'm trying to remember. About 60%, I'll say. And the other 3 of us were the other 40%. But the prices are not, it didn't make that much of a difference. It didn't much. 2 things. First of all, the prices for electricity are in the, there's places out there where they're 20s, but mostly 30s and upper 30s and low 40s. And then you have to add in 2 other components. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it didn't really make that much difference for Hannibal to be gone. One thing, I did ask Vince a question about what does he see in terms of the cost of power, the energy, the capacity, having a piece of metal somewhere that could make electricity, and transmission, getting it from the plant to your kitchen. And he said that in 10 or 15, 20 years, it could be a third, and a third. So the good news is we have 2 megawatts out of our 3 to 4 megawatt base load bought. That capacity is just going to get more and more valuable. The energy costs at Prairie State are still higher than market. So the third piece is transmission. So that's the future of. It used to be transmission was a couple of cents, capacity was a little bit, and you're paying for the energy.
Yeah.
But the world is changing. And I don't know how much you guys. I promise you a short meeting. So the last auction for capacity, some weird things happened in Illinois. We could have sold in Illinois, and we could have gotten more than we got with our pre-auction agreement. When we sell our capacity in March, instead of getting $24,400, we'll probably get more pre-auction, and we could roll the dice and try and get even more in the auction. We probably would have tripled our money if we'd gone in the auction. And there's a lot of stuff that went on with that. Some of it wasn't particularly
The lack of
kosher.
crystal ball.
Well, it's also the big players possibly, their strategy worked. They're big enough to make it work. They sold some of their capacity in a different region. But despite that cost, it still isn't high enough to encourage the construction of new capacity. So think about that. As bad as that price looked, it's not enough to make people build more power plants. So what that means is don't expect capacity prices, which 10 years ago you never probably talked about at all. It's a big deal. And Cahokia has a couple of old generator.
Diesel generators?
Yeah, dual fuel. I think the diesel, natural gas either. And they may never run those things, but they can count that as capacity.
Right.
And that's tens of thousands. We don't have one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the world.
What's the one that's on?
That's not big enough. So there you have it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for that update.
Anything under other?
I did have one other thing. November 14th is the day I'm looking at now for retreat. I have different opinions as to how many people can do that day.
What time?
All
day?
What?
All day or?
No, gosh. I'm thinking, Landon wants it earlier. David Wilkins has a rehearsal in the morning, so I'm looking somewhere either like
11 to 3?
You're gonna be in St. Louis that day?
you're gone. All right.
I had something right at from like 1 to 2.
Sounds like we need to pick a different weekend.
Well, the 21st is, we could go into December.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. I'll send out a new schedule. And see which one's.
First weekend in February.
Oh, you're right.
14th is open day.
That's right.
Well, it is open day in your seat. I understand that.
Yeah.
But there's that middle part of the day where
That's what I said.
That's why I said I could do 10 to 1, but you can get past that.
I got you. Okay, well, we'll try to get it in we'll get some new dates in December. Anybody who wants to go to the Boone County Municipal Dinner, please either respond to the email. It is the 19th of November.
I haven't done it for Christmas.
What?
I haven't done it also.
You responded, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah. Don's going. Jim, you want to go? So 3 of us are yes. You
I don't know yet.
don't know yet. Okay. Well, tomorrow's kind of the they asked for the
Final list.
yeah.
Good.
So yeah, my shit. Or you and no, I lied to you. It's Thursday, November 12th.
So that's this,
This
Next-
week from
next
week from Thursday. Week from Thursday. And it's 6 to 8 p.m. in conference rooms 1A. It's in City Hall in Columbia. And they need to know tomorrow.
I'm probably out.
Yeah. I know they need to know tomorrow.
all right.
Got that part right. Okay.
Okay,
That's
I,
I'm done.
I've got one other, and, is I'm having a coffee with the mayor on Saturday from 9 to 11 at Grinders. So, anybody that's got anything they wanna talk about? So it's Grinders,
You should have told them while they were still here.
completely slipped my mind. No, that's all right.
Go with that.
I was waiting for the truck to come.
I've been run by and dropping the car.
I think you should do that.
Hey, that's all right, we can come talk to you.
I'm sorry,
Something on your head.
Well, I couldn't remember what the hat policy was, and Mark reminded me that it was okay. So.
Oh, okay.
Way to go, Mark, way to go.
Any
All right.
motions? Any motions to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Adjourned.